Hello, everyone, and welcome to this stream for Game 4 of Gukesh against Ding Liren. Again, it's going to be a stream of about 2.5 hours. I'm afraid I've got to do something at 11:30 British time, but hopefully we'll get the most exciting bits out of the way and dealt with. Very interesting game somehow. After Ding lost that game 3 against Gukesh before the rest day. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of it really. I had actually the feeling that the way that Gukesh was playing, we could possibly have been heading for a repeat of game 1, where Gukesh was kind of overplaying his position. I felt this move G5 that he played on move 15 or 16. I really felt that was maybe overplaying things somehow. But somehow Ding, just reacted over sharply somehow. Didn't sense the right moment to go to just a normal play. And I guess also he was really feeling the pressure about the opening preparation. So seems that already on move 7 he was on his own, and so I think when it's like that, I think hey, hi, good to see you. I think that when it's like that, when you're facing something new on move 7 and you're playing quite sharply, because Ding played very concretely there, putting the bishop on c2, risky and all that sort of stuff. I think probably he didn't realize that that he was actually getting into a very nice position, and that he was almost through. I think he still thought he was worse, and he still needed to take a lot of dramatic action. And and I mean that simply you put down to Gukesh's excellent preparation, right? And as I said, I do feel that the Gukesh in this match is at the moment with White in danger of overreaching all the time. I think he's trying to do almost too much with his positions. On the other hand, I also have a little bit the feeling that that's kind of his style as well, right? The opening. I don't think it's going to be another French. I think he's going to. Maybe he's going to go. Is Ding going to go solid? Try and go solid this time. E4. I mean, or is Ding going to play D4? I don't know whether Ding will play E4 again because, it depends really what he's got. What he's got somehow. I would have thought D4 to be honest, or one knight F3, or one C4. And sort of heading for something like that. I would have thought that would be what Ding will do, but I don't think he'll go E4 again for now. I think he'll maybe try out D4. I mean, in general, I sort of think that early on in a match, it's a good opportunity to try and get a feel of of the type of systems your opponent is playing. So, if you're able to, then playing a few different systems and getting a feel of it, because the worst thing you could do is to just play the same move all the time and then just at the end say, okay, I'd like to switch over to d4, but you've got no idea, not even a clue about what the opponent might play. So I think early on in the match it's still balanced, so now's a good moment to maybe play one d4 or something like that, and H3 within the first 5 moves. Who knows? Who knows? But I really love that H3 idea of Gukesh. But that's definitely a Leela idea, crazy Leela idea. Actually, probably also a bit of normal Leela. But I came across it with the crazy Leela stuff, and I played it quite a bit in Blitz somehow. So but I thought that was really good preparation from Gukesh. Really, really excellent world championship preparation. Really tough. Setting Ding tough problems, and obviously slightly unusual as well. Yeah, I mean C4 would be a good choice. One knight F3 as well, something like that, and then try and somehow get a feel for what sort of systems is Gukesh going to play. I mean, that was one of the interesting things with the Magnus against Jan Nepomniachtchi match, that you sort of got a very clear idea that Jan had decided, I'm going to play this system against everything, this system against everything, and I mean, I think that was very good information. predictions for this game, it could be anything somehow. It's just very hard to know. Just very hard to know in what sort of mental state Ding is really, for the whole match somehow. It's and yeah, difficult to know anyway, I think. I mean, look at his previous match against Jan. He seemed to be very up and down, but always seemed to get control of himself at the right moment. So, I mean, actually, I do think that that's one thing that maybe hasn't been said that much, but it's a slightly difficult situation for Gukesh to be playing against, because he's just. Oh, hello, Francis. It's I mean, it is quite. He doesn't really know, how strong is Ding somehow. If Ding's playing at his maximum level, then that's great, but if he's not, then you're sort of thinking, oh, could I get away with a bit more, or is that too risky? It's a certain amount of mental strain for Gukesh as well, to deal with not quite knowing how in what sort of state Ding is. One knight f3. Here we are. Let me just share my screen, because I've forgotten to do that. And then, oh, I've got too many things open. Where's Leela Live? Leela Live, Leela Live, Leela Live. Where is Leela Live? Yeah. Okay, it's not Leela Live, but Leela Live is here. Knight f3, e3. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty nice system. So this is actually there was a whole book on this written by the Swedish grandmaster, I think, Axel Smith, called E3 Poison, and I didn't give it a very good review, and I sort of I yeah, I doubted about it. I'm not. Yeah, it's one of those things you're not sure about anymore. I thought it was a very chaotic book, really chaotic, very hard to sort of grasp what was going on. But it was very full of ideas on the other hand, and I think maybe I should have been a bit more generous about that aspect of it. But it's really nice. It's really, really nice, I have to say. I mean, you've just got so much flexibility here. You can play c4, you can go back to d4, you can go b3. I mean, you can even go g3, and at times you can play b4 as well. So look at Leela sort of suggesting b4s there. So yeah, I mean, there really is lots, and you could just transpose into a Queen's Gambit type, but you're going to find out exactly what he does. For example, Gukesh played the Queen's Gambit accepted against Hikaru Nakamura in the last game of the candidates when he needed a draw. So here you can play c4 now. I mean, Gukesh can still go d takes c4 if he wants, but you haven't committed your pawn to d4. But b3, that's pretty interesting. So we're going to get some sort of Zukertort type system, I guess, maybe. Or maybe, maybe White will play c4 and d4, but maybe he'll just go g3 and bishop g2 and that sort of stuff. It's really could be anything. h3, g4, if you've been watching a lot of Leela odds. Yeah, there's loads of transpositions here. So will be interesting now. I mean, we're going to get a good little feeling now for what sort of systems is Gukesh thinking about. I'm pretty sure that Jan Nepomniachtchi against Magnus, if Magnus had done this, he would have gone e6, because he was going for his e6, c5, knight c6, bishop e7 systems against everything. In principle, you would say that a move like bishop f5 or bishop g4, especially bishop f5, I think, sort of using the fact that you can get your bishop outside the pawn chain would be very sensible. I'd also say that g6 would be a very sensible move as well. But not sure whether Gukesh is really a g6 kind of guy somehow. So I always remember against I think it was against Magnus, wasn't it, in the first game of the 2013 World Championship that Vichy met one knight f3, d5, g3 with g6, and then this was almost looked like a killer in terms of winning chances. Of course, it's not that, but yeah, still good. Could be an insipid day. Yeah, I mean, you could be right, Blair. There's definitely that danger that the Ding could just try and keep things safe, but got to be careful because Gukesh is he is the kind of guy who can get interested in slight edges. He's not as not quite as bad as Magnus from that point of view, but he is, he is very capable of just playing any position, So and yeah, you never know. He might decide that it's time to, if he gets a sniff of something, it's time to start putting on the pressure, because I'm sure part of his plan will be to try and exhaust Ding, because obviously Ding had his health problems and also hasn't really, played at this sort of level for a while somehow. And whereas Gukesh is really hardened in classical chess and also young and fit somehow. So could get a Zukatot Kole, definitely could. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure. It's going to be very interesting to see. It will depend very much, of course, on exactly how Gukesh does this. But I'm quite interested to know. It'd be interesting to see what he does. And Gukesh is having a little think here, so it doesn't feel 100% to me like he's got a standard set of openings to play like Jan did against Magnus. Hey, Lemmings player. Yeah, I mean, I think that's right, Maury. It's you're really trying to gain as much information, and this is quite a nice one. I mean, just see which structure Black chooses. In general, I mean, I would say if you're looking for what would probably be the best move, I think G6 followed by Bishop G7 is probably the best way of playing. It can be a real neutralizing killer, that one. Yeah, no, it's true, Blair. I did feel that Ding's best chance was to get off to a really fast start and then try and hang on after. With Gukesh getting nervous and maybe knocked off his stride. And yeah, I mean, I have the feeling somehow that that's what Ding was trying with his Rook H5. He was trying to keep the tactics going somehow. But yeah, with a tied match, Gukesh settling into the match, you do kind of fear for him a little bit. Grantastic. Hello, Mr. Beads. Hey, Barris. Yeah, I mean, you do sort of fear, but again, Ding is just very difficult to predict. He seems all over the place somehow, just mentally. Even when he was beating Jan, but somehow he gets himself together. He has enormous reserves of will. I think the ability to punish himself, more than he really should do. And it's incredible. I mean, you don't become a world champion, you don't become that strength without those qualities. But yeah, he just displays a lot of his human side, the fallibility as well. He's not afraid to do that somehow. So yeah, makes him a very strange person to watch playing. Very nice person, but also very strange. Bishop F5. Interesting. I'm pretty sure that Jan Nepomniachtchi would not have done this against Magnus. He would have just gone E6 quickly, had his system sorted, and off we go. But yeah, I think Gukesh is just playing for probably the best system. I mean, it doesn't hold as true as it used to in my day. We used to say, "Oh, get your bishop outside the pawn chain, and then you just equalized." And that was all a little bit simplistic. But the general rule is still a pretty good one. If you get the bishop outside the pawn chain, it just makes development just a little bit easier somehow. Bishop E2. Yeah, this is definitely preparation from Ding, because this is a very odd move. What was Leela saying? Yeah, Leela was saying something that I think we've all played in Blitz quite a bit. Where are we? So Bishop A3 is sort of fun, so that if Black plays E6, you can take on F8 and stop Black from castling. Not completely crazy, just you have to I mean, it's not amazingly strong, but it's just a little bit irritating somehow. I mean, what you often find in Blitz is that Black plays knight D7 and then goes E6 and then recaptures with the knight on F8. But I mean, I think let's just say it, make a few moves. The point is that if the knight goes to G6, then this guy's a little bit a little bit exposed. You could conceivably look to trap it somehow. So yeah, probably you have to go back to d7. You end up wasting a little bit of time, but on the other hand, a set of pieces gets exchanged, and of course it's the lovely white dark squared bishop, which would normally be cutting across the board and yeah, not doing there. But this is indeed what Ding has done. I'm pretty sure this is from Richie's from it's Leela's top move actually. So this might be more Leela preparation. I've got the sneaking suspicion that that Ding is that Ding is using Leela for his prep. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused about this this thing, but I think probably the engines consider that black's already a little better, actually, don't they? I think it's or not. Nah, Sessa's saying a little bit better for. Oh no, wait a minute. We saying a little bit better for white. Yeah, no, it's that's a little bit weird actually. This win evaluation for Leela there. Maybe Naphtha can tell us something about that, because that is quite strange in actual fact. You do notice that with these quiet systems that yeah, the engines often end up preferring black quite quickly, because they basically see black playing the white side. But this is a little bit extreme there. I'll just let me just refresh there, just in case. Fine. How many people we got? 298 people watching. That's pretty. Player rating adjusted. Yeah, that might be to do with it as well. Make it a little bit higher. Maybe that's yeah, interesting. So bishop a3 played from Ding, which was Leela's top move, and probably in Richie Rapport's Blitz repertory as well. I played this a number of times in Blitz myself. So yeah. And yeah, we have to see what Black is going to do. I mean, if Gukesh has been practicing against Leela odds, then I think the move G5 would be almost automatic. And it's not as crazy as all that, because white's not grabbing space, so you might as well. And grabbing space like this you do see it quite often. It also gives the bishop a nice place to retreat there. And then we're just going to go bishop g7 and look for something. Yeah, I mean it's not so so crazy somehow. But yeah, that's right. E3 Poison. That was the book I mentioned before, indeed. So, but G5 will not happen. G6 also not completely stupid. A little bit weird to have gone H6 and G6, but yeah, we're going to put the bishop on G7 and just yeah, grab the diagonal. I mean, you can get away with a reasonable amount in this. I suppose yeah, I'd kind of be a little bit wary of, I suppose, of playing knight bd7, e6 maybe a little, thinking it might be preparation, but on the other hand, yeah, how terrible is this preparation going to be? It can't be that good. Oh yeah, that's loose horse puzzling. That's what I said. Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, I was saying loose horse puzzling, that I gave it a poor review in the end, because I felt it was incredibly chaotic, so chaotic I didn't know anymore what was being recommended or not. But yeah, I've sort of been feeling a little bit guilty about it, because there are loads and loads of ideas somehow, and that he gives. So I should probably maybe I should give more credit than that. It's just I was a bit worried about if I, sort of recommend it, that maybe people will buy it and then just be completely confused. It was it was a strange book from that point of view. It's so yeah, it was one of those where I didn't give a very good review, and yeah, then I sort of I sort of wondered about it afterwards. But yeah, it's yeah, what you say there, that that you finish the book and you don't even know what his recommended move order was. Yeah, I do understand that, because I had that feeling. Oh, rook g8, yeah. Yeah, no, G5 is not so stupid. It's completely possible, I think, but I don't think it's one of Leela's favorite moves, is it? No, it's down here. What does Leela give after G5? Yeah, yeah. Oh, all a little bit bananas. This. If this happens, well, I'll eat a biscuit. But yeah, no, that's. I don't think that's gonna. Certainly, that's exactly. It's not going to happen. Hey, hello, but yeah, I don't know. Not stupid. Now, I think what's most likely maybe is to go knight d7 and then black's looking to go c5. So knight bd7 here, and then if you go something like castles, then c5 here, and you just block out this bishop, and then you go e6. But I guess that I guess that that Ding has got some sort of idea about the structure he wants. I mean, for example, I could go in this position c4, e6, and you've played your knight to d7, whereas in an IQP type of position, you'd rather have it on c6. So now you could go takes, and if takes here, for example, you go d4 and you've got an IQP, but with black having a knight on d7, not bad. Hey Naphtha, we noticed that or rather, we noticed Blair noticed that the black winning percentage is incredibly high there. Is that due to adjustment by is that due to the adjustment for his rating somehow? I guess, but yeah, no, I mean this could get quite interesting. It looks a little bit quiet at the moment, as Mr. Beeds mentioned, but it could get quite interesting somehow in terms of move ordering. Yeah, I do think that c4, that this might be the idea. You're going to go for a nice IQP position, but with black's pieces less good. If knight takes there, I mean, you can go play a d3 and e4. Got to watch out for queen f6 there. Or maybe what I was thinking originally, whoops, sorry, was would be to go bishop b2 first, and tie up this guy a little bit, and then go for d3 and e4. Or if black does something, play, d4. It's, I mean, the one disadvantage to having the bishop on f5 is that when you play d4, if black plays c takes d4, which you often want to do, then knight d4 is going to hit the bishop on f5. Small things, but all things that can make you slightly uncomfortable. So, I mean, I don't know what else. I mean, black could obviously just play, well, could play a move, could play e5. I mean, that is possible, of course. It does mean that after bishop f8, you have to take back with the rook or with the king. Yeah, all are possible there. I mean, you could. I mean, I've played too much blitz, I think, but I'm even thinking this, or even king takes f8, and then you're just going to play. Yeah, you could play g6, or you could play g5 and king g7. Not. That's right. B3 is considered more volatile. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Leela's always playing these sort of moves when it wants to play for the win somehow. So, and knight bd7 from Gukesh. Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, I'm sort of thinking, yeah, c4 maybe c4, or yeah, castles. Castles would probably be my preference. Just I guess castles would be my preference. Just to let me just refresh there. Just to see what is black going to do. Is black going to go e6 or e5, or is he going to go c5 to block the bishop? Um, you know, maybe if you go c4 in this position, you're maybe sort of tempting black to go e6 quickly, or something like that. But yeah, it's possible. I mean, they'll just have to work out really what um, just have to work out really what he thinks that Gukesh might do, and what might be nice to force there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just wondering. I mean, An idea might be, I suppose another idea might be, I'm just trying to work out how best to describe this somehow, is that, you sort of let black play knight bd7 and then play e6, and then you're just going to put the bishop back to b2, just with the idea of, I've got you out of playing c5 knight c6 systems. I've made you develop with a knight on d7. It's g4. It's possible. It's not absolutely crazy as you might think, because it's nearly there. But I mean, after knight g4, I could play the move knight d4 here, and I'm hitting both those. So that would actually possibly win a piece. I mean, you do have the move bishop e4 with the idea of f3 e5. That could be quite dangerous. Although maybe, yeah, that could be quite dangerous. But what you're actually thinking of course, is to go bishop g4 takes, and then knight e6, with the idea of takes bishop h5 and checkmate there. But yeah, I mean, if g4 happens, then yeah, well, I will be surprised. Bishop g4 would be black's best, of course. But you could, yeah, I mean, these ideas are not so crazy, right? I mean, you're attacking the rook on g1, you'll get rid of the bishop on f8, which will weaken the g7 pawn. I'm sure crazy Leela could find something in there. I mean, actually, the reason I'm looking at g4 is that I was kind of thinking of it in the same sort of way somehow, with playing I was thinking maybe more of h3 or maybe d3. I'm not quite sure which, just bear with me. But the idea is that, you go back like this, and then you're going to look for, well, you could look for g4 now, of course. Or you could look for h3 and g4 somehow. And just claim that, having brought the knight to d7, not allowed black to play c5 knight c6, black's finding it a bit harder to fight for the center. I don't know, some idea with the bishop coming back to b2 and not exchanging the bishop is maybe quite interesting. I mean, h3 is something similar, right? And you go g4 in this position, and or you try and play something with f4 somehow. Sorry, I'm going a bit bananas here, but so I just got interested in knight d4, bishop h7, bishop h5. I'm feeling a bit ill today, so I think I'm getting I've gone a bit manic in my thinking. But yeah, the idea is to go knight e6, of course, in here. And obviously, if black played something like g6, then the bishop on h7 is going to be rather blocked in. But I guess something like takes and bishop g6 would be fine. I've seen, oh, well, queen d5 actually. Well, maybe not so. Yeah, knight f6, I guess. I've seen too much. I've been looking at too many odds games somehow, with all these sudden attacks. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there is some potential somewhere for a little bit of craziness somehow, um, in this system. And something involving, just move the bishop back to b2 straight away. And after e6, go knight d4. Bishop has to decide where to retreat here. And now f4 or c4. I do like this idea of just moving the bishop back, I have to say. Bishop d6, I take and go knight d4 and g4. We'll just d3 and knight bd2. We just keep the and just keep this line in. Yeah, losing castling on move. It's in principle it should be all right. Yeah. Oh, but they've played a lot of moves, right? I much prefer my idea, to be honest. But anyway, castle's played, and then black's played e6. Bishop f8, knight f8, and c4. This is not the most not the most interesting. I think we're going to see Gukesh bringing the knight back to d7 and then castling here. So I think the point is, that what does Leela want? c6 Leela wants, okay, but she's looking to bring the knight back to d7. You can see all the time there. Yeah, knight d7. Yeah, this is not really very exciting, to be honest. I think this bishop a3 and then back to b2 idea, I'm pretty sure you could do something with that. It's quite modern somehow. You give up a tempo, but just alter the disposition of the opponent's pieces and then go for it. Leela's doing lots of those things in odds, and we've seen it in a number of variations as well. But yeah, this is looking pretty fun. I like though what Leela's suggesting actually. That is quite nice. Have you seen this line? C takes d5, E takes d5, and b4. And we're just going to be playing some sort of Carlsbad structure. Carlsbad structure is if white plays d4, but the minority attack basically, with these two pawns charging up to try and exchange themselves actually for two of these pawns and leave one pawn weak. Yeah, Carlsbad structure. If you look on the Game Changer YouTube site, loads and loads of examples on that, and loads in my books as well. It's one of the structures I've ended up looking at the most. But that's quite nice. The nice thing about it is that you keep the d4 square for the knight, and you can also have d2 to d3 to stop the black knight coming into e4. That could be something quite nice. Oh, 150 contempt. Oh, okay. Thanks, Naphtha. That's interesting. Yeah, no, but this takes on d5 is interesting. I like this one. Very nice idea, followed by b4. That's making something of it. Just something a little bit different, and put the knight on c3, knight on d4, queen on b3, pawn on d3, and you're going to be claiming a little edge there. That would be nice. That would definitely be nice. What's Leela saying for knight e4, b5, knight c3? Oh, d takes c3. Wow, hadn't expected. Oh, okay. You're just turning it into okay. Takes like that. Yeah, we've got a pretty standard sort of queen's gambit decline there, where this knight is less good than this bishop somehow. The knight finds it hard to really find a good post. It's virtually equal, I would have thought, but still, if anyone's got a little edge, it's white most probably. But yeah, you can play in lots of different ways there. But I like this idea of takes and b4. That's quite nice. I mean, I don't really like any of the others. I mean, d4 castles, queen b2. We've got some sort of semi-Slav structure just for Mr. Beads. But yeah, this is really nothing at all. You can do this sort of thing again if Black's played a Dutch structure with f5. Even then, it's not that amazing. But this is just really, really absolutely zero for white. So yeah, I don't think that this is absolutely nothing at all. I think Leela's idea of taking under b4, that is at least exploiting some of the specific features of the position there. That you've exchanged off the dark square bishops, you've made Black lose a little bit of time, and now you can get in b4, b4 in this structure, which you want to do without committing to d4. I mean, I think that's really that is really a nice way of playing, but anything else I think is not particularly good. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting somehow, because I think we're going to get some idea of whether Dinger's got any real preparation in this, or whether he's just sort of chosen it and just making it just making it up a bit as he goes along. Because I think c takes d5, e takes d5, b4. You could have that as your preparation and say, well, I like it. Little edge, not bad. I mean, I could even imagine Gukesh playing this as white somehow. It's a nice find, um, but anything else is just like some really, really dull position where you've really got very little hope of doing anything. And I mean, Gukesh is fine in these positions, right? I mean, he's just a steady, sensible guy, right? He's not gonna do anything. Um, he's not going to do anything crazy somehow. He's quite capable, like he showed in the second game, of just playing a very sensible and decent game. You know, even when he's caught out in a little, in a potentially nasty little thing like this. So yeah, yeah. But Ding is thinking somehow, yeah. So yeah, get the feeling he's maybe not. This is maybe just some yeah. Maybe nothing special, and he's just playing it just to play somehow. We did say that thought that Ding's approach here with white was going to be to play a bit more riskily as black and to play more solidly as white. So that does fit in, but you don't have to go the other way and just do absolutely nothing with white. And this idea of taking on here takes and then b4 is just just nice somehow. It's just nice little plan somehow, and you can think of all sorts of easy ways actually in which you can play, right? I mean, I can just think of about 7 or 8 moves. I could think, oh, I could play those almost automatically somehow, and black's got to decide on his plan. I mean, maybe black wants to play bishop g4, swap off this bishop, which doesn't have a great deal to do, and go for a 2 knights against knight and bishop position. That's quite typical. But yeah, could be all sorts of things basically. But so I think it's kind of a critical moment for the thrill value of this game. If Ding goes something like knight c3 or d4, then I don't think much of our chances of getting an exciting game or anything other than a draw, to be honest. If Which Leela is kind of saying as well, right? I mean, you see the difference in winning percentage here. I think c takes d5. It's very much the only way to do it. And yeah, I like it's nice analyzing with Leela from that point of view. Leela's always really good at finding these little ideas to find little, promising ideas of promising setups somehow. Oh, actually, you can just see what I was saying there, actually, that Leela's also saying that black can play bishop g4 here. Yeah, I mean, typically, because you've got this nice, oops, good lord, sorry. Sorry, I'm going bananas with the interface. But because you've got this light squared pawn structure, in principle, yeah, you don't mind letting the white bishop bite against that chain somehow, So yeah, swapping a light square bishop, or even just keeping it on there and just putting annoying pressure on there is not bad. I mean, Leela thinks you need to take off like that, and then with some accurate play on the queen side, black can hold it. But yeah, there's just always nice little possibilities there, for a little bit of an edge. It's not very much, as you can see, but I think here, I think you can definitely make the claim that that you had an idea and you're giving black a little thing, some little thing to think about somehow. So knight takes d5. Yeah, I don't know what Leela thinks about knight takes d5. It's a possible, but it's just sort of yeah, it's not so amazing somehow, I think, because you're going to have to move one of these guys again when you get threatened with e4 at some stage. I would imagine that white would play something like now I've got to be careful. I mean, d3 basically would be my thinking about it, but you've got to be a bit careful because queen f6 is a little bit awkward with possible knight c3s if you're coming here, so that probably wouldn't be recommended. My feeling would normally be something like knight a3, and then I'm going to play knight c4, queen b2, something like this. Play d3, e4 eventually. that would be something what I'd be, thinking about something like that really, and I wouldn't be wanting to play the move d4 at any stage. I can't imagine that Leela would recommend that. I'd just try and play around the center and try and get in this d3 4. Little bit like a Najdorf Sicilian, but yeah, the only thing you've got to be careful about is not allowing knight c3 at some stage. So just need to maybe you could play rook e1, bishop f1 as well to threaten e4. Just try and drive that knight back. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can organize yourself so that it doesn't hurt anymore. I think that would be quite interesting there. Ding's already thinking for 10 minutes, which doesn't seem very promising. What's Sesse saying? What does Sesse want? Sesse wants queen c1, h3, d4, queen b2. Just wants to swap off the queens. g5, yeah. This is just nothing at all, right? It's just nothing at all. This you can't really play this against not in a world championship. It's not gonna work. Yeah, he gives a lot of moves the same, of course. That's but yeah, this is all just nothing. All these lines where you're just swapping off two pairs of minor pieces. It's just not really going to be happening there for white if you do that. So yeah, you really do need something exciting from Ding. Or exciting. You need something with a concrete idea from Ding. If you're just going to play d4, knight c3, then I think the aim really was just to make a draw somehow. This thing. TCC computer is stronger than Sessi. I'm not sure. To be honest, about that. I think Sessi got an upgrade, didn't it? What is it? It's 28. Oh no, it's only 20. It's only no, it's not actually. It's not that. Yeah, I thought it got a big upgrade actually, or maybe they do that only for Magnus matches somehow. But no, it's just 28. That'll be 28 or 28 CPUs, I guess. But how many cores will that be? Maybe that'll be a lot of cores. But I think I'm not quite sure what the TCC is nowadays. Like 128 cores, I think. So I don't think TCC is any weaker. And of course, it's got the graphics cards for Leela. I mean, you need to be kind to Leela, don't you? So wait a minute. I'm just seeing. I'm hearing something. So I think I maybe. Well, it's all right. It doesn't really matter. Now, wait a minute, that's maybe a little bit confusing. Let me just, I'm just, I think I've got some odds openings open, and people have started playing odds chess against Leela. So let me have a look. No, they're all muted. Crazy. Where is all this? Maybe it's the new one. Oh, I think it's Leela peace odds. What were the odds? Rook, knight, and bishop. Somebody was playing. So that's the one. Yeah. So I don't know whether you saw it, but the Leela team has brought out new odds possibilities. You can basically create your own odds. You can even do queen and two rooks if you like. So the new Kibitzer, yeah, the Kibitzer is huge. Yeah, Mr. Beads, yeah, indeed. That's Kitten Caboodle, isn't it? Who's not Kitten? Is it Kitten Caboodle? Kitten, anyway. Who's done that? Yeah, that's an absolutely massive. That's absolutely massive. 11. Yeah, no, that's right. Sesse is not that amazing. I think. Sesse, zoom in a little bit. Right, let me just do that. I will do that for like that. That's probably better, isn't it? I think. But is Ding really still thinking? For 15 minutes. Hmm. Oh, just 28 cores. Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe 28 actual CPUs and multi-core, but okay, yeah. Then it's. I mean, it's you'd be happy to have it at home, but it's not. Yeah, it's not crazy for for this time. Yeah, they play everything nowadays. Bleak, they really do. Different in my day, but yeah, they really do play more or less everything nowadays. Yeah, this a little bit slightly worried about this with Ding thinking for 15 minutes. It's I would have expected maybe that you'd be a little bit further with your prep, you know, for actually finding some interesting little wrinkles in there. I mean, I would have thought there were two things that I would have expected. I mean, either you come up with this bishop a3 idea, and then you just sort of say, okay, you know, if black does something like this, then I'm just going to play this b4 idea. You just got that in your head, or you come up with something with bishop b2 that you say, okay, I'm just going to do something a little bit surprising here. Going to invest my extra tempo in claiming that this knight has got misplaced here. It's not on c6 after c5, and then I'm going to do something, you know, maybe interesting, exploit the outer limits of the position. But yeah, this is really Ding looks worried. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Got to be a bit careful with those things. I mean, you can play positions with white and just sort of say, "Well, I'll play it and I'll make something of it." But yeah, I don't know. You can also make something really negative of it somehow. It's always essential to have some sort of idea at least. It doesn't need to be much, but some idea. And yeah, seems feels like somehow that he hasn't really got um, an idea, you know, ready in this position. Because I mean, you know, even if you're thinking, oh, c takes d5, knight takes d5. I mean, you know, at least you know you've made black make a decision. That's not a 100% easy decision for black to make. You know, you can sort of think, okay, well, you know, I'll play knight a3 or whatever, and we'll just carry on with the position. You know, but yeah, yeah, this is very solid for Gukesh. It's but okay, you know, I mean, in that second game, Ding could have done something. But again, he didn't seem like he was thoroughly into the making something of nothing at all kind of mood, like Magnus is all the time. So I'm not really sure that this is the position that he's that Ding is going to make something of somehow. Just having a look to see whether this has been played before in uh, in Blitz somehow. This is sort of known somehow. Um, Yeah, I mean, we're still following a game here. I don't know which game. The Hierarchs database never tells me somehow. A couple of games still. But knight c3 has been played, and then castles is normal. Okay, c takes d5. So knight c3 played on video. Okay, that's still. Yeah, I mean, what Leela wants now, I think, is the move. Leela wants to move c6, and I think that if you take on d5 now, that Leela will take back with the c pawn on d5. I think that's what Leela's thinking about. Because what I'm seeing is that there was a game played actually with there's a few transpositions as well, but there was a game played with castles, and now white took on d5, and after e takes d5, played knight d4 and b4. which is similar to the idea that yeah, that we looked at. But Leela's recommending, yes, I should be on the main live chess stream tomorrow. I think. Well, Queen's Gambit, Paul. I think you're just worried about preparation and the opponent making 25 moves of easy preparation and making a draw. E3 is quite cunning. It's quite a cunning move order thing, but yeah, got to make something of it somehow. But yeah, this is quite interesting as well. Yeah, I mean, Leela's recommending c6, and if castles, then Leela's saying, okay, well, we go back to the plan that I wanted. So I think that yeah, okay. So Leela thinks that c6 would have been the best move there, and I think the idea was to recapture on d5 with the c pawn and just keep it completely symmetrical. And the point is, maybe just show why that's kind of interesting there. The point is that normally when you do this sort of stuff, white can play the queen to b3 or something and attack the pawn on b7, just irritate black. But here that's not possible at all. So, it's the queen's blocked by the pawn on b3. So this should be a lot less dangerous for black. Would have been possible. I mean, castle's not bad, of course, either. So, but now we are expecting very much Ding to take on d5 and play b4. Although, yeah, I mean, in all fairness, now after takes, I would be starting to consider knight takes d5 here, because after all, we're going to swap off another set of minor pieces, so that can't be too bad, yeah. Well, that's right, Danger Mouse. But you do hope that there's more life in the position somehow. I would say that c takes d5, knight takes d5 seems. Oh, I don't have any particular games for you, Sushan. Just best is just to try it, right? E5, D6, and then something like F5, knight F6, bishop E7, and then just see how it goes. That's the best thing. Doesn't cost anything to try it out on Lichess, or that's the nice thing about chess nowadays. You've got endless opportunities just to try stuff. Yeah, I don't know. What would we do after knight takes d5? Suppose we could take off like this. But with another couple of minor pieces off, it's feeling quite, it's not feeling like an improvement, really. I don't really know what else you do. I mean, yeah, I think you probably we'd end up doing this, but it feels better somehow to swapped off for black, to swapped off more minor pieces, What is Stockfish recommending? Just wants d4, but yeah, not very excited about that. Oh, a crazy Leela contempt without any odds. No, I don't think that exists actually. Or can you set the peace odds to bot not to give you any peace odds? I don't know about that. No, that might be quite fun, of course. That might be an idea. An odds bot without odds, but with just lots of contempt on there. That might be a nice idea. That would definitely be interesting. Yeah, the semi Tarash is really a toughie. What was I doing with? I was doing. Yeah, I think I did a video on this. Yeah, I did do a video on this with E3. This was quite interesting. Leela found some interesting stuff in there, and I was even playing G4 as well in this position, which is not as bad as you might think. Certainly got some interesting stuff going. For Blitz, it was fine, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know really. I'm a bit confused with Ding at the moment. Um, yeah, I think he's still got it in him to play really well, but I suspect that he's not feeling super in himself at the moment. So I think probably you're looking more at the 2750 strength Ding rather than the real 2800 one. So so I think probably yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I really don't know whether these matches are tiring somehow. I mean, it's all new for Gukesh, but he's always no, that's not an easy draw for black. No, that's a little bit tougher. Ah, okay. C takes d5. That's good from Ding. So he has got this idea. Oh, E takes d5 play, not knight takes d5. Okay. Players not listening to me at all. And now b4. Yay! Okay, so maybe maybe Ding did have the idea, but maybe he didn't have it clear in his head how he actually wanted to reach it. So this is nice. We've got b4 as well. So this is a game. This is a game. Good stuff, Ding. That's good. Shows he's in the right zone somehow. It's taken him a fair amount of time. It's a bit taken him a bit too much time, I think, but yeah, it's pretty good. And now Black's got to decide what he wants to do. Yeah, I mean the real obvious way for Black to play is to play the pawn to c6 and then try and play knight e4. That's what you always try to do in these type of positions. You try and yeah, he's played it immediately. You just try and exchange off a pair of knights and keep on exchanging and just just empty your position of that sort of space. That's possible. Another idea is to play the bishop to g4. So why Leela's second move here is h3 here, simply stopping something like bishop g4. Not Leela's top move, but yeah. I think queen b3. I'd be yeah. Queen b3 is going to be most likely. I think what Ding would play. Other possibilities: h3 is possible. d3, I think, would be the other human line you might play just to stop the knight coming to e4 there. What Leela wants there is to play the queen to e7 and play knight e5, or yeah, knight e5, and then this thing. Oh, this one hanging. Oh no, bishop d3. We've got knight e5. That's sweet. But okay, I mean, we've got the type of position that b4. Time for me to eat a biscuit. Yeah, Magnus criticised Ding. It's true. I mean, to be honest, I think you would have the position that Ding got. Magnus would have been delighted to get that from his prep. That he would have. He would have been very happy grinding that position, and um, Magnus always looked incredibly bored during World Championship matches. But I think that would have been one that would have got him interested somehow. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame from Ding, but yeah, I don't think he's quite in that. He doesn't think he's quite got the calmness in himself still. To I think that Ding probably had something like this on the board in front of him, or not on the board really, on the computer, scrolling past quickly. Gukesh probably not, I guess, or not this morning anyway. Maybe he's seen this in the past, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, as I said, Keith Arkle, English Grandmasters, made his life out of playing this structure. So yeah, I mean, Gukesh has got some work to do to sort of navigate to a good middle game without too many weaknesses. But yeah, normally speaking, you would expect that he'd be completely able to do this task. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Gukesh had this morning, but I mean, it's quite possible he's analysed this in the past, right? These are not totally unheard of ideas. So, but what Gukesh has done is very, very normal there. And now, yeah, Ding's got to come up with a plan. Would be nice if he just played a move quickly and just had some sort of showed some feeling of, yeah, I know the type of thing I want to do here. But I think he probably is most likely thinking between these two moves, h3 and queen b3, or maybe whether to throw in knight d4 first. And this is possible as well, because that avoids this bishop g4, and then to play the queen to b3. That would be another very natural human move to play. Yeah, what the engines are sort of what Leela's pointing out there is that knight e4 is a bit more disruptive when you include knight f3, knight d4, because we're attacking d2. And Leela actually wanting to sort of transform queen f6 hitting f2, wanting to transform the structure with d takes e4, and why not? The knight's coming into e5, looking for d3. You might even be able to start pushing your h pawn now and creating some weaknesses. That would be quite decent, I think. That one. Well, yeah, a6, you'll go a4 somehow, yeah. So you'll never prevent that completely. He might just throw it in, indeed. I mean, queen b3, a6, a4, bishop g4 does look pretty sensible from black. I do like that. You just the bishop's not doing anything on f5. It's just a target for d4. So so you just develop it now to a slightly irritating square. Just restrain white from doing too much, and then yeah, you're pretty much ready to deal with anything that white throws at you. I think it's why Ding might just go h3. To be honest, I think that would be the move. Yeah, slightly surprising that it doesn't like d3 that much. Although these are much of a muchness, of course. That's not much difference in there. Oh, interesting. With d3, Leela looking to play queen d2. Leela wants to avoid the exchange of pieces, so wants to keep d3 covered there. Not bad. And h3. This could also be quite reasonable, this sort of setup. You know, there's not much going on, but there's not much really going on for black either. King side's nice and safe here. Queen side's sort of holding black back somehow. That could be a quite decent setup as well, I have to say. I quite like that one as well. Basically, I'm quite enjoying stuff that's stopping black from exchanging pieces. And maybe from that point of view, then d3 is quite nice. Although, after d3, you could go bishop g4 there. Maybe I'd be more likely to, yeah, you'll have to choose which one to do first. But maybe h3 followed by d3 would be my kind of likely move. I'll be off the stream for just 1 minute. I'll be right back. I'll leave you with Leela. Sorry, somebody mentioned the biscuit, and then I just had to. Yeah, this is quite interesting. As I said, I would playing it for the if I was trying to make something of it, as I said, I would be looking to play either h3 or d3. Probably h3 first, I think. D3, I'm a bit worried. I'm just sort of stimulating bishop g4, which is a little bit irritating, I think. So I'd play h3 because knight e4 is a bit more of a commitment somehow. And then if black didn't react, I would play d3 afterwards. I mean, I think that would be the way I'd do things. Leela looking at this sort of play. Queen b2, interesting. Bishop g4. Ooh, you could really exchange off a lot of pieces there. Rook e8 and knight d6. Knight b3, knight e5. Yeah, this is all playing a lot of playing around. Oh God, Leela, what are you doing to us there? Quite a lot of playing around there. I mean, basically, Leela doesn't really consider there to be very much at all there. But I would say that, yeah, I just get triggered, don't I? Yeah, it's just terrible. Knight d4 played from Ding. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think my feeling now is that after knight d4 and bishop g6, I think that Ding will play d3 and stop the knight coming to e4. I think that's what he's going to be aiming for. Just to stop black from exchanging off pieces too easily. Weak IM or weak GM strength? It's not easy, Sushan. It's really difficult, to be honest. I think that's aiming for that straight away is too high. I think you need to. I think a 2300 player can definitely think about becoming IM, and the very unusual one can think about becoming GM. But I think if you're 2000, I think you need to aim for 2100, right? And then 2100 to 2200. It's just it's just extremely difficult. It's now people underestimate it somehow, and it's just you do need to be really good to be an international master. It takes a lot of chess skill really, and there are thousands of them, so we take that level kind of for granted really, but it is an extremely strong level. So I would say that the best thing is to do is you need to get yourself within striking distance of that, and then you can decide what to do. But I think striking distance is FM level. Yeah, I mean we're starting to get some bad moves in the position. It's because we're attacking the piece, of course. So if you just leave the piece on prise, then that tends to bring it towards white somehow. I think I'm more or less certain Gukesh will play the bishop to g6. I think h7 is possible as well, but it just feels like you're blocking in the king a little bit, and it's a tough one. I mean, bishop g6, you might get hit later with f4 to f5, or a later knight e2 to f4, but I think in general you put it on g6, the bishop. If Gukesh was intending to play g5, he would have done it by now, I think. So yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I think. I mean, GMs are also seen as much less strong than they used to be before, and it's obviously with the engine showing the way, you can see all the mistakes of everyone. But yeah, as always with these things, achieving it yourself. I mean, I was looking, I mean, it's like the same as being an armchair footballer, or armchair runner, or whatever. But I did. I got into running a while back, and unfortunately, I've badly torn my hamstring. So I don't know even ever be able to do it again. But I really got into running, but I was running something like 22, just over 22 minutes for 5K, and I felt, surely no human can go faster. But I mean, you see, like, obviously, the park runs, the little weekend fun runs that I did every weekend. You see some 14, 15-year-olds running 16, 17 minutes or something, and you see the world championships running 15 minutes like that, and you sort of take it for granted somehow, looking at you see, was it there was a girl who came in last, quite clearly, in the 10,000 meters or something, and you sort of say, oh, not very good. But then you look at the time and you say, wow, like, that time I would have, died for a time like that. And, just she's last in the World Championships, and not looking that great, but still an amazing time, so it's kind of, you lose perspective until you really have to do it yourself, and then you realize how difficult it is. And I think that's the case with IM. Because I do know a number of people who've tried it and haven't got anywhere, simply, really, and yeah, they were 2300 or whatever, but just haven't managed. It's just tough. It's just very, very difficult. Now, Queen B3 surprises me, to be honest. Slightly. It's a normal decent move, but I thought maybe that the Ding was going to go on the way to playing D3, and of course Gukesh has played Bishop H7 now, which I said was unlikely. Will be interesting. I do wonder whether some of the other streamers, the good positional players, will say anything about Bishop H7, because it seems odd to me. It's why would you put the bishop on h7 and stop your king, and set up back rank make threats for yourself? Just tactically, it just feels wrong. Put it on g6 and leave yourself with an escape square. I mean, understand that it's a difficult balance somehow, but still, What does he think? Did he sort of feel that Ding was going to play f4, f5 maybe, and he wanted to? I don't know. Interesting, a very interesting decision. It's those ones are interesting somehow, because yeah, there are some things that I think, well, even obviously I'm weaker than I was, much weaker, but at my best. But still, those are decisions that I'm pretty sure I would have taken just like that in my professional day, and I sort of think, I find that Bishop H7 incredibly strange somehow. But yeah, Gukesh is way, way stronger than I've ever been or ever dreamt of being. So, interesting. I do wonder what other people think about Bishop H7. Be interesting to see. But Queen B3 is a bit funny, really, yeah, because you can just play knight E4 somehow. I thought that Ding was going to try and stop that with D3, but okay, quite possible. What I like about Leela's plan, to be honest, is Leela's trying to change the pawn structure. Really concrete play. I like that about. I mean, that's why Leela's so successful with odds, right? I mean, just able to play these, make these very concrete plans. But this is very nice. Yeah, G5. It's possible, but I don't really see it somehow. Yeah, I mean, I think if you were going to play G5, you would have played it on move 4 or 5, like I was showing before. Now, yeah, I can't believe it somehow. I think he maybe, I do think he maybe started thinking that White was going to play some F4 and F5 maybe. And, he just sort of thought, well, I'll get my bishop well out of the way of that. But I don't. Maybe it's possible. Maybe it's possible. It's a big responsibility, f5 somehow, and yeah, I don't know. I don't whether it's worth moving the bishop all the way back just for that. I don't know. It's not going to be too crucial, but it's just something that really, really occurs to me. So Queen B3, yeah, Leela's looking at knight e4, and so hitting that one. And the idea being that, not necessarily specifically in this position, but Leela's looking to take with the pawn on e4 and play the knight to e5, and sort of again, I want this bishop on here so that I could play queen g5 and bishop h5. Sorry, Gukesh, I'm really I'm not happy with that move of yours, but I'm going to keep on thinking about it. And if you have a problem with a back rank mate tactic, then you know I'm going to be saying I told you so all the time. Well, look at Leela. Leela wants to play bishop g6 there, so yeah, yeah, that would be a boss move, wouldn't it? Really, but Leela wants to play bishop g6. Nah, I'm sure it's. I find bishop h7 a very strange move. I can't think any other human player would would naturally play that somehow. I mean, just looking at. Oh no, I can't really see that. I was just wondering whether after bishop h7, what Leela thought about f4 there, but I can't see that. Never mind. Now, I would think that the Gukesh will, yeah, knight e4 takes. Would this have occurred to me? I think it would occur to me in a game. I think that I would see this in a game because you're sort of looking to try and change this rather dull structure where white's just trying to grind you, and I think that this just looks attractive, right? You get the chance of hitting here, maybe some extra little ideas like c5 with the white minority attack. Yeah, you can actually do something with this c pawn without weakening the d5 pawn. So I would say that that this is something that you'd definitely be looking at seriously. Trying to get this knight e4 d takes c4 in. And with white, I'd be I said I'd be looking to play. I would have been looking to play the move d3 there to stop that. But okay. Yeah, could I? It's always best to assume that chess does not make money. That is quite good. Although, it's I think to be honest, making money by playing in chess is more or less impossible. I think there's only a few people in the world who do that, and they're all the best ones. And the way the whole chess elite level works basically, once you get into that elite level, you keep on getting invitations, and it's very slow trickle through to other players somehow. So I mean, look at Erigasi, right? I mean, he's reaching 2800 plus, and number of top invitations that he's had are still pretty small somehow. So yeah, I think you can really say that to make money by playing chess, it's not really possible. But the yeah, I mean, the point is, it's much easier than it ever was to make decent money by writing, by producing content, and by coaching. And but simply, yeah, I mean, you've got to have that. You've got to have that love for chess in all of its aspects. It's when I was professional, I was very, yeah, I don't know. No, I've always been keen on two things: the writing aspect and the playing aspect, especially. The coaching aspect, not so much. Or I felt yeah, I've done. I wasn't a coach. I was, a second for strong players. I enjoyed it very much, but I didn't feel that it was a particular skill, and it wasn't something that really grabbed me. Although obviously I tried my utmost to make it all work, and didn't do too badly either. But yeah, I mean, if you love, if you like the coaching and the teaching and all sorts of stuff around chess, then Fide Broadcast now has the WDL bar. Ah. I had a chat with some of the people who I think are involved in the FIDE broadcast a bit before the match, and talked about things that would be interesting to do. And this was one of them. So I didn't know at the time that Leela was doing it. So great, yeah. Those guys, they were really was very impressed with them. Actually, they were really trying to do some good stuff there. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, yeah, I seconded Joël Lautier mainly. So the French player, loads of his tournaments, and also Ewan Piquet one time as well. But Joël Lautier mainly. A good team, I think. Good team. I enjoyed it very much, but somehow, yeah, I don't know. I think the best coaches are the people who really combine good chess, of course, but with some cleverness somehow. Some real native cunning. That sounds disparaging, but I mean it positively. And for example, I would think that a player like Levon Bronian would be a magnificent coach for juniors, for example. I think also for strong players, but I was always we played against Levon. Played. There was a nice competition at the London Classic called the Pro Biz, and I played together one year with Demis Hassabis. Did not do a very good job for him, I'm afraid. But we played against Levon and his player, and in principle, well, Levon's a lot stronger than me, but Demis was quite a bit stronger than the other players. So we kind of balanced each other out. But I was so impressed with how Levon was having ideas and being clever about when to take a break, because you get timeouts where you can consult with your player and all that. The plans, the way he was playing was so clever. I really thought, wow, this would be somebody who could really just make juniors, streetwise, really, and do that really, really well. And I have, some ideas and all that, but I'm not just half as good at that, at doing that. And I really thought, I think Levon would be an absolutely phenomenal player to have as a coach as a child. I mean, not necessarily for raw chess stuff, although obviously he would be brilliant for that too, but more in terms of attitude, approach, cleverness, all the stuff that goes around the game and that can net you so many extra half points. I think that would be brilliant. Um, so yeah, Gukesh having a long think. I think it's a good moment to have a long think, by the way. As a trickster, yeah, he's also very self-deprecating and everything, but he's so good at that. He really is so good at that, and it's not a general skill. I definitely someone like Kramnik is also in a slightly different way. Kramnik's also very good for that. I mean, I think you see the players who really came to prominence very, very early. They're the ones somehow who just naturally have that some of that game maturity. Understanding not just the chess itself, but the how the course of a game goes and what are good things to do somehow. And that's something that, to be honest, I think as a professional, I'd never really had. I got it much more when I came back as an amateur, which is why I think that my strength when I came back as an amateur wasn't that far below my professional strength. I'd lost a reasonable amount in calculation, I think, and also my preparation relatively to the rest of the world wasn't as good. But yeah, all the life experience there of all the work, doing all these projects that I do, and finishing them off, and having to persuade people and sell projects and all of that. That gave me a lot of life experience. I think, yeah, also getting divorced as well was a life experience as well. Not a great one, although to mention that we really did our best, my wife and I, to do that. But going through those sort of life experiences, that was probably quite important for me to develop that. But I didn't have it naturally. Whereas you see a Kramnik or some other great players, Magnus as well, and you sort of feel like they had that just naturally, that feeling about game understanding, general game understanding, and that really helped them progress very, very quickly. You know. Yeah, just very, very important. I think it's very important, if you're choosing, just going on that, if you're choosing a coach for your child, yeah, important to get that feeling of, can he help us for technical stuff, but can he also, help for just that general chess feeling, just because if you can possibly get a coach like that, then I think that's worth its weight in gold. obviously depending on the skill set of your child. But improve your chess by getting divorced. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. It's yeah. I think most chess players, if they when they're playing chess, getting divorced with is an absolute killer somehow, I think. Um, but yeah, yeah. It's but for me it was yeah, it was not a good experience. And I was very sad that it happened. But I have to say, in terms of teaching life experience, seeing that stuff can go badly in your life, but that you still, carry on and pick yourself up. You have to, got all sorts of things. You need to stay on you need to stay have equilibrium. You need to keep on going, all those sorts of stuff. And you see at the end, oh well, I managed that. Then you realize that yeah, nothing that the chessboard can throw at you is going to be too much. You'll always manage to cope. So IT was I was looking to stop. Well, I took the decision to stop after Tilburg 1998. Actually, before the after the last the penultimate round, where I totally messed up a game against Vichy. But I was thinking about it already. It was going to happen very soon anyway. But I decided that was it. I'm fed up. That was meant to be the most glorious game of my career. I can't take it anymore. So the penultimate round there. Yeah, I mean, I was just looking around for stuff. I applied for a lot of jobs, but people were not really that interested in my skill set. But with the year 2000 bug coming up, if you remember that, if you're old enough, then they were looking for lots of people who could do IT and speak languages. And well, I could speak very good English, which is obviously very much wanted. And also my French was very good as well. My mum's French, so I've spoken both languages since I was young. So that was basically how it started, and I just really got into IT, loved it, and I love it still. And I really do enjoy it a lot. So that's how it happened. But it was really yeah, a very fortunate time to do it. And I also have to say that I stopped at the right moment because I was 24 when I 23, 24 when I stopped as a professional. And yeah, I was still young enough to start from quite low level and work your way up. If I'd tried to do that when I was 35, would have been a lot trickier, I think. So barely remembered. Oh dear, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm 50, of course. So modern GM's better than the old ones. Um, yeah, generally, I think that's. Although I don't think you'll see much difference here. I mean, if you gave me Karpov in this position with White, I don't think. I think he'd do a pretty good job of this position. I mean, to be honest, where you really see the difference with the modern GMs is compared to the old ones is um, especially I think it's more over a large series of games than just individual games. But the fighting spirit is just unbelievable right nowadays. I mean, you saw a lot of short draws in my day, and people saving their energy, whereas Magnus basically transformed the chess world, and people realized, well, if I'm going to fight against this lunatic, I need to be able to play 100 move games against him. So everyone just stepped up their game. And the young players, it just looks so natural, right? I mean, they lose a game, they come back automatically. It's all those practical skills at a such much higher level. I mean, I do think that you could put some good players like me, in my professional time, and put me in at the in a top tournament now, and I think you just see me getting chewed up somehow, because I wouldn't be able to cope with the intensity, I think, at that level. Whereas, in general, I didn't play many top tournaments, but the ones that I did, I did fairly okay before, until end of 1998. But I think, yeah, calculation has improved enormously. I mean, obviously, engines have opened our eyes to what is possible, you know. All sorts of stuff that we would have just said with compensation, with the initiative before. Yeah, now people are just looking concretely and saying, yeah, you're going to have to prove it to me, So that's definitely true. But I mean, there are, a lot of things. You see surprising things from time to time. Endgame technique and or technique, I think, is generally better across. But a lot of standard endings, people still don't seem to know, much better than in the past. So yeah, it's but yeah, I mean, I think you see Kasparov or Karpov or Ivanchuk and Anand playing at their peak, and you could put them into a top tournament, and playing at that level, they would be great still. But whether they could keep up that level against this intensity, this average level that you'll get in the tournament nowadays compared to what it used to be, that is the question. I certainly think Karpov would struggle. Kasparov, you tend to assume he'd manage anyway. Vichy most probably too, because Vichy is yeah, still unbelievably strong. Even though he's reaching his 60s, right? But really, I think that's the real problem: the intensity and the average level in a tournament. You just don't have a rest at all. Yeah, of course, people are doing stuff with a lot less time. It's much more important to get through the ending moves rather than with a good general sense, rather than actually be precise. That's why you see so many mistakes. No, no, no. I was infrastructure guy, still am actually. So what are they? Solutions architect is so I'm doing that with remote access solutions for my company. So very much enjoy it. It's not rocket science. I mean, in general terms, there in IT, I'm about probably 2200, 2300 rating. That's what it is, but extremely enjoyable, and yeah, I mean, I like the whole thing, interacting with people and yeah, achieving projects and doing stuff, and yeah, very nice. Oh, I think having someone to analyze your games with is nice, but you don't necessarily need a GM at the start. That's the easy players, yeah, all 2650 plus. Yeah, that's right. Terrible. 95 from Gukesh. That's a very reasonable move as well. I mean, I mean, the knight is hitting d3, and it's also keeping knight e4 in reserve there. The reason, to be honest, I wasn't thinking about it, knight e5, was I was thinking that white might play f4 in this position. I mean, it does fit in with his bishop h7 then, right? That he's, yeah, maybe if he was planning, if he really thought this was likely, he was going to play knight e5, then that explains playing bishop h7. Because if knight d3, I think I was going to say knight d5, but actually queen d5 is possible here. Because bishop d3, there's, oh no, there's bishop h7 check. Ha 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 ha, there we are. It's knight b3. So actually, I think after f4, I guess black has to go back. Does that help? Does that help black? Is that true? f4. I mean, knight g4, I just go h3. Knight g6, possible, I guess. Could come around e7 to f5, but feels, yeah, feels a bit odd, right? I mean, I'll have to think about it. I mean, it's not going to be so bananas, but still a little bit, does look a little bit odd to play bishop h7, knight g6. And yeah, knight e d7, then we've wasted two tempi. Is that good? Maybe just tempting thing. I mean, it's never going to be so bad you can get away with a lot in these positions. But I'm kind of wondering, I kind of like having f4 in just for free. And now it's my move again to do something. e4 or something. I don't know. Interesting. Very, very interesting choice. Yeah, I mean, I think f4 is the reason the bishop is on h7. Yeah, it kind of makes sense from that point of view. But what does Leela say? Leela just says f4 is the third. Leela just wants to come back to d7 and says there's nothing much wrong with that. Moi. Not sure. Not sure about that. Not sure. What else is Leela? At least saying A4 here. Okay. A4, but why wouldn't we be going knight E4 then? Wouldn't that be a nice idea? Let's have a look. Because I was thinking the idea of knight E5 was to go knight E4 and to try and get this and already have the knight pointing towards D3. That's a matter of endgame technique. Super book, actually. Really super book. I mean, it's huge, but it's really good. You can just read little extracts of it. It's pretty much what I vaguely had the idea sometime when I was because when I was professional, I had a set of 100, 150 end games that I went through every single morning. You know, that was my whole routine. I had a routine of 2.5 hours or something where I went through standard stuff like that, trying to make sure it got into me. And I really thought that that would have been something that I would have loved to have put together myself. You know, just lots of these examples of different themes, little endgame themes, and just have them all together and then go through them every day. That would have really made me stronger. So I think this is it's an excellent book. If you want to improve your endgame technique, then that would be really good. Yeah, I mean, I thought so. I'm a bit surprised about A4 because I mean, surely we would go knight E4 then, wouldn't we? Or does Leela think that we don't need to take on E4, that we can just do something maybe like rook A2 or queen B or queen B2 maybe? Because Leela was sort of forcing knight takes E4 with a move like queen F6, but maybe we go F4 now or something. Or not sure, not quite sure why Leela likes A4 now somehow, but I mean F4 is really the very natural human move, I have to say. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. It is quite uh, it can be a lot Argard. But what I liked about this one was that it's really I mean the whole book is huge, but it's really quite small little bits. So you could actually just spend 10 minutes every evening just playing through one and learning a lot. It's I thought it was very well written. It's So yeah, definitely would recommend that one. Recommend that one to everyone who wants to do a bit of endgame study without, automatically getting into the heavy theoretical stuff. I thought that was really quite a good thing there. Yeah, a little quite a interesting part of this game somehow. Both players, I think, struggling a little bit to get a grip of it, I think. Um, but yeah, next few moves are quite important. As I said, f4 would be my automatic reply when I see that knight d3 isn't possible, because it just feels like, um, the thing I'd be wondering about actually would be the move knight g6 to try and play knight e7 to f5 at some stage. Could be that when you could play knight e7, I play a move like g4 or maybe even f5 and just try and block in all those pieces. So but yeah, f4 knight ed7, just giving away a couple of tempi like that would seem very odd to me. But doesn't particularly weaken the white king side either. So yeah, gives white the opportunity later of playing f5. I don't really understand it, to be honest. Not my sort of move. But yeah, Leela is only thinking, doesn't really think that much of f4. So yeah. Yeah, theoretical ones mainly. So yeah, all sorts of queen versus rook and pawn, and it's I still remember, I still remember But I remember a lot of these endings still, and somebody came up to me once and said, "Oh, they were, looking at actually a whole bunch of strong players. Were looking at very strong players. Were looking at this queen versus rook and h pawn position, and it's one of those positions where." If White's got an H pawn as well, his king has to be on a certain side. If he doesn't have an H pawn himself, his king actually has to be on the H file itself as well in order to win. And I knew it absolutely. I knew that fact absolutely perfectly. And that was one of those sort of endings that I was going through all the time. Never had it in practice, of course, but not even calculation in practice, I think. But yeah, it's Nick, have it on offer. Silicon Road to Chess Improvement. Wow, definitely go for it, everyone. That's definitely worth it. I do like that book very, very much indeed. It's just in terms of trying to draw out, positional, strategical, tactical themes from engine games. It's really. I do think it's a really, really nice book. Um, so, and I think, to be honest, it works even better digitally. I think that does work really well. A little bit like re-engineering the chess classics. I think those are really good in digital format. I like them. I mean, personally, I always prefer them in book format, but I do think that that they work particularly well in digital format. Yay! Well done, Manuel. Perfect. That's what we like to hear. I can't imagine that Ding is not going to play f4. It's too natural. Too natural. Let's just have a little look at that, because I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Cannot believe that anyone would not play f4 if they're given the chance to do it virtually for free. I mean, I don't suppose that obviously I'm a crazy Leela influence now, so I'm just looking at pawn sacks all the time. Yeah, this does not look like anything somehow. I mean, this is very nice for keeping everything at bay, keeping this knight on d4 safe. Lovely triangle formation. This is nothing at all for black. Knight d3, indeed. We said that was good. I'm just checking to see whether there isn't anything amazing. I don't think so, because knight f4, you're trying these desperados. I can just take back somehow, or even take on f6 with check. So it's not really anything. I mean, I could go knight d5. Oh, maybe that's a possibility. Because wait a minute, just check that one. Takes knight d5. There's just bishop f1. I don't have anything amazing there. So okay, I go knight d5. So yeah, queen d5. I said bishop d3 because we've got this little intermezzo here. But what I could do is to take with a knight on d5. And after bishop d3, I'm going to take, and go knight b4. I was actually assuming that something like queen b3 was going to be good, but black could actually play c5 here. Which, well, a4 maybe. I mean, that's Leela's move. Just have a quick look there. a4, Leela's move. f4. Apart from that, I'm not really sure. Rook d1 maybe, if you want to be subtle or something. Can't really think of much else, to be honest. It's not really that sort of position where you've got lots and lots of stuff to do. I would have thought, to be honest, that the plan I was pleased about with d3, queen d2, and then that gave you more possibilities to do stuff than give you more opportunities, I think, than what Ding's doing. But well, we'll see about that. But knight takes d5, knight takes b4. So I guess I just go queen c4 here. This must be quite nice for white somehow. You'd settle for this with white, wouldn't you? I think. A bit of pressure on the b7 pawn, like that. Maybe just go rook b3, rook there. It's not huge, but it should be a little something, I think. I wouldn't really recommend this as the queen equalizer that you have to go for. So yeah, no. I guess knight ed7, or I'd be trying to justify it though. I'd be going knight g6 somehow. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it's possible, I guess. You play a4, then black can play this knight e4. You could take. I mean, I'm just wondering whether you would want to take, and whether you might just do something like rook a2. But you can do that. Takes. Yeah, maybe a5 just to try and solidify the queen side there. A6. I think, yeah. Stop me saying f4 immediately. I was maybe thinking king h1, but yeah, something like this could be interesting. These pieces are just a little bit strange somehow. Never know. Yeah, could be. Could be. It's haven't quite got an idea yet of what sort of mood Ding is in, really. Whether he's in the mood for taking on some weaknesses or whatever, or that he's just going to try and keep it very tight at the back. I would think, to be honest, that he would be a little bit confused about knight e5 and just being able to play f4. I find it hard to believe that Gukesh would play knight e5 in order to play knight ed7 back again. I just find that very hard to believe. I can't think of any. I can't think of any. Oh, that's right, Mac. Oh, sorry about that. Next time, there's a tournament somewhere, and we're both there. So I can't think of any, of any classical example. For example, where you say, "Oh, it's good to force f4 in this position for white." It's just actually a move that white really doesn't mind playing at all. So I am kind of confused about this move, knight e5. But it's the sort of thing that, you sort of think that's so stupid, and then after f4, knight ed7, you start analysing a bit. He's played a4. Yeah, I'm surprised, to be honest, but maybe I'm just not, maybe just not deep enough. So yeah, Leela's looking at knight e4 here, and Leela just wants to play rook fd1 and delay that. Leela just wants to keep it tight at the back, and then knight d6 is quite nice, aiming for the c4 square there. b5. Oh God, Leela's pretty sharp line from Leela here. All sorts of things happening. Knight takes d3, allows c4. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but Leela, interestingly enough, wants to avoid knight takes e4. Wants to just protect the d pawn and not let anything happen there. Which is fair enough. Yeah, does to be honest, does seem a little bit odd to take on e4 when black's played the knight on e5. He's clearly hoping for that. It feels like you're sort of going for that too much. I think you're in New Zealand. Wow. Oh, this match must be pretty decent time zone for you. Must be. Oh, you moved to New Zealand. Oh, sorry, Mac. Well, not sorry, Max. That sounds very nice, actually. But yes, we might not meet up. Oh, Mickey. Yeah, Mickey is lovely. Mickey's great. It's yeah, no, he's a really nice guy to have as England #1. It's always always got on really well with him, and very happy about that too. So the thing about Mickey, there's never any edge to him at all. As with some top players, always got some edge. Always have the feeling that they're being competitive at every single moment, and Mickey doesn't have that at all. But when you're playing at the board, he's unbelievably tough and everything. But yeah, just a very nice person. So still very strong. 4 p.m. Oh, not bad. A Kiwi stream, yeah. Now, I'm pretty much expecting Gukesh to play knight e4 now. I mean, surely this was his idea, so that seems pretty consistent. He might be a little bit surprised by a4, I would have thought. Don't think he would have been expecting white to ignore the opportunity to go f4 somehow. But Just wondering, we're not still in previous theory, are we? Just wondering. My goodness. Looks like instead of Queen B3 on move 13, Knight B3 was previous theory, played twice. Looks so unnatural. Looks totally unnatural. Don't know what they were thinking there. But yeah, this is in principle this is quite a nice move to play if you're going to think for 15 minutes, because I think that Gukesh was probably looking mostly there for, and expecting that to always be included. So not including it is quite quite a nice little yeah, quite a nice little thing there. Is David number one at the moment, or is it Vichigov? I'm not sure. Maybe David. If you count inactive players, then I'm number one. So yeah, not playing is definitely the best thing you can do for your rating at the moment, or has been. I think maybe the new rules will help that a little bit. But you're in Japan. Oh wow. Oh, brilliant! Loads of people over the place. It's I know a guy in Japan actually. He was played chess together a lot as Kent Juniors. A guy called Simon Bibby, who who yeah is an English teacher or university lecturer, I think, in Japan. So yeah, I've got vaguely the idea of coming to Japan sometime because well, I was playing a lot of shogi at some stage, Japanese chess, and wanted to. Oh, David is 5 points higher. Wanted to to get into that. I wanted to visit Japan, of course, then, because that's the mecca of shogi. But somehow COVID interfered. Starting to make plans, and but yeah, still would love to do it somehow. F4 Queen D2. Um, I played on. I'm not sure I played it actually. Mostly, what I do is I put those ideas up and then don't play them. But I did get an English female player who won a nice game with it, and gave me a shout out. So that was pretty good. Yeah, it's cool. It's nice when you see that people are trying out your ideas. I think it was the same with the G4 semi-Slav as well. That had a bit of an explosion after those videos. It's there's some great ideas in there. There really are. Back to the shogi. No, I've sort of I've had my time with the shogi. Chess is enough now for to keep me going. It's but I'm very glad I did it. It was very interesting to do it somehow. Also very interesting to see how difficult it is to, because you really think GM chess skills, you should be able to get pretty good. But I got to 2 Dan, which is probably around 2000 elo, something like that, in chess terms, or something. Not over the board, but we didn't play enough over the board. Basically, everything happened with COVID after a while. So I got to 2 Dan on the main site there, but yeah, always felt very, very fragile somehow. The chess skills were kind of useful at times, but kind of confusing you as well. So yeah, very surprisingly difficult game. I thought it would be quite linear and tactical, but it's just amazing somehow. So like chess, amazing but different. So. Oh, G4 Benko. Yeah, I love the G4 Benko. That is a great one. That is such a good line, the G4 Benko. It's yeah, I've scored massively with that one as well. English Junior, was that no, that wasn't Badana, was it? That was I commentated on part of it actually. So oh sorry, I'm talking about the Blitz actually. There's lots of promising juniors at the moment, and in the girls, amazingly as well. Amazingly, lots of them. So yeah, England's really going through a lovely period at the moment. Got some really good. Board one, yeah, board one. You do tend to be the sacrificial lamb somehow. I was feeling that as well at times. I have to say, it can be pretty tough on there. It's but yeah, no, I not I've actually would probably struggle to remember the rules now completely, but I had a lovely time doing it, and it gave me lots of extra little ideas for chess. But somehow chess is G4 Catalan. Yeah, indeed. It's yeah, Endgame's the last opening. Yeah, it's good. Any opening's good, really. Art nowadays, anything goes. It's uh, it's all about making the opponent feel uncomfortable with something or other. So yeah, black starts in shogi. Oh, sorry, main site. That's dojo something. 69 is dojo and a number is the main site. I've forgotten that. Oh, rook c8. Interesting. Playing in very restrained fashion, Gukesh. Very restrained indeed. That's interesting, though. Leela thinks that maybe Gukesh is aiming to go b6 and then c5. 81 dojo, that's the one. Yeah, Lai Shogi's still a bit empty somehow, yeah. Yeah, although it's very nice, very nice. So, but yeah, it's the English shogi communities on Lai Shogi, isn't it? They have tournaments there from time to time. So that's interesting. B6 and C5. I mean, you're really trying to fight against this white stuff in the center there. Ooh, and look at this now. If F4 now, Leela suggesting knight C4 because we've got this little idea of going A5. So we're threatening A takes B4 and C5 thanks to this rook on here. And if you take the pawn, we go c5, and then we fork you on d3. Ooh. So that's very interesting. That's quite nice from Gukesh. You know, to find a sort of line now that justifies knight e5, because after f4 you don't need to go back; you can go forwards now. So that's very nice. No, it's Leela is a bit biased because Gukesh is a bit the stronger player somehow. But it's often true that the engines start liking these positions with black when you've got more space somehow. But I think it's the fact that Gukesh is higher rated that they like that. Yeah, well, Leela mainline is quite sharp here, looking for a5 and then b6 takes f4 knight c4. So this trick again. The idea being that if you take on c4, we'll take and go c5, and then we'll have this bishop d3 to hit you there. So rook fd1 and then c5. Yeah, this is pretty. Oh, looking for a draw by repetition there, but this is pretty pretty concrete from Leela. And yeah, if Gukesh is going for this, this is pretty. This would be pretty impressive, I have to say, because you know, it's a very concrete line and really fighting against what White is doing. Pardon me, I've got rather heavy cold this morning. Yeah, I mean, it's always really impressive somehow when players find ways of playing concretely when yeah, in positions that look very quiet. You know, always shows that you're thinking very well somehow. So some interesting stuff here. Actually, the game might be hotting up. B6 is definitely an idea. That's Leela's second move. I was wondering about this one actually, although I didn't. It looked a little bit ugly, but even playing b5 in this position to sort of have the knight on c4, but you're not White isn't able to go d3, but just the feeling that White might be able to go d3 sometime, and you're left yourself with these queenside pawns sort of put me off a little bit. That was a little bit odd. But Leela also looking at here at this move knight e4. So yeah, again, this general idea of knight takes e4, d takes e4. Um, so Leela wants to play rook fd1. I think that's kind of because if you take on e4, d takes e4, somehow all this pressure that you're developing on the queen side doesn't really seem to mean half as much. So you need to have as many pawns as possible here that you can undermine, I think. But then Leela looking to maybe try and weaken some stuff with the if you had a bishop on g6, you'd come around to h5 after. Rook c1, knight d6, f4, knight g4. Quite interesting again, although Leela's thinking about a draw by repetition there. It's yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Gukesh chooses here. I wouldn't be surprised about b6, but knight e4 also decent. Or maybe he's going to play a move like rook e8. That maybe feels like Gukesh is playing very sensibly at the moment. So maybe rook e8 is a good sensible move to you know. I was also wondering about playing king h8 somehow. Where are we? Oh, Leela says it. King h8 as well. I was just wondering about playing knight e4 and then, having some chances for pushing the f pawn later. Or even getting the bishop back to g8 and attacking the white queen somehow. I was vaguely wondering about it, but that's more on the edge. I think, if I had to play here, rook e8 would be one move I'd be looking at, knight e4 another one, and maybe b6. Might come up with the idea of b6. Yeah, might do. Surprisingly tempting when you it's not something you naturally do, weaken your queen side like that, but it's okay. Oh, thanks, Napster. Interesting. Yeah, b6. I like b6 actually. I do like b6 as a move. But knight e4 I like to. Rook e8 I like to. I mean, rook e8 is just sort of putting the ball back to white and letting white show what he's got and what he wants to do. Knight e4 is starting to take some action, b6 as well. So, well, I suppose we'll get an idea of what sort of mood Gukesh is in here. Just does he want to do something himself, or is he looking to concretely just kill the position? Or oh, rook c8. Rook c8 is oh, sorry. Hi, Jeroen. Yeah, indeed, first time clocks equal there. So yeah, both handling their time rather badly, you would say. An hour already for this type of position. Wow. It's yeah, rook c8 is just oh, b6 played. Wow. Yeah, rook c8 is actually supporting this move, b6 and c5. So yeah, it could in many ways just be a sensible developing move. You might be playing rook c7, for example, rook e8, rook c7. But this was actually incredibly concrete. This is quite impressive from Gukesh. Quite impressive. Important to be protecting the c pawn if you're going to play the move c5. Yeah, this is pretty impressive because he's finding something very concrete in this quiet-looking position. Always very impressive when players manage to do that. He's spent enough time on it, so obviously he's taken an hour over his first 15 moves, but actually he's getting the result for it. So he's provoking a crisis, and things are going to get sharp. So that hour, if you just spent an hour and then just got a quiet position, you'd sort of say, well, what were you spending your time on? But this is good. This is concrete. I like this very much. And I think, to be honest, that it will come as quite a big surprise to Ding. I think it certainly would to me. Black doesn't normally fight back against this sort of structure on the queen side. Normally you let white come up and you try and do something sensible with your pieces and try and react to what white's doing. This is just, fighting it head on somehow. So very interesting. Yeah, you're right, Napster. That's really, really interesting, actually. I think the key. Well, I mean, Leela's giving a manufactured repetition on move 22 there, so it's possible, but that one's not easy to spot, to be honest. So I'm not quite sure about it. Yeah, you're right, Napster, about the difference. The point is that I'll show the difference. The difference between bishop a6 and a takes b6. So um, with pardon me. With the bishop a6, rook c7, you're actually able to play this move because after knight c4, we take, c5 takes, and we go knight b5. We've drawn the rook onto c7. So when you go bishop d3, I go takes and go knight c7. Whereas if you don't throw in bishop a6 first, if you just go f4, then I can just do this and and knight b5 isn't attacking anything. So now bishop d3 happens. So what that means is that after f4, black has to play a move. It's either going to be knight d7 or knight g6 or knight g4. Knight g4, I'm guessing h3. Or would black play? Whoa, that's getting complicated. c5. Okay, I might have to. Is this a serious thing I'm saying, or am I being ridiculous here? d4. I'm not sure. Maybe we should look at other lines first before going totally bananas. I mean, after f4, maybe you would go. I'm a bit nervous about knight d7 though, actually, because could there be b5 or this one feels a little bit weak somehow. I'd be more inclined to be looking at maybe knight g6 and then trying to play knight e7 to f5 and challenge this knight. But that could get very interesting. That could be very interesting. And bishop a6 is quite an important move if you want to keep real life in the position. Because obviously, if after f4 you can go knight c4, then this is very clear for black. And yeah, you know, it's looking like it's going to be decent, right? There's just no doubt about this for black. But this move bishop a6 is quite a cunning one somehow. I mean, I think you've got to go rook c7 there. Or no. Now, I was sorry for the noises. I was looking at c5 here, wondering about c takes d4. Obviously, you're hitting this knight. We take back on d4, so we're hitting that one. But I was wondering about something clever. Knight c6 or knight f3. Yeah, I was wondering about this. I guess it's absolutely nothing. Maybe just knight d5. It's probably too much. It's not 100% clear, but yeah, not too much. And knight c6 could be interesting, maybe. Bishop a6, knight d4. It's not totally crazy, but probably you'd want a few more pieces pointing towards the king somehow to really stand a chance of that. So okay, so c5 is not going to be good enough, I don't think. Or would you have a chance here? Just want to try and do something on the king side, really. Probably you'd have knight takes d5, wouldn't you? C takes d4, knight e7, and knight d5, queen d5, and we're hitting this one. That wouldn't work. No, so we can't go bananas. Rook here will have f4, I think, and we're going to have some knight c6. You might need to do that with a counterattack against d2, but then I'll take, and you no longer have the rook behind c5. So yeah, that's going to be good for black. So I think you're going to have to play rook c7. I think that's more or less the only thing we can do. Which means that this is going to be pretty forced then. I guess we're going to take off first. Feels like we're probably more likely to exploit the a file than black. And then we go f4. Knight c4 doesn't work, as we saw. Knight d7, yeah, white's got to find something, but you feel like you should be able to do something with this weak guy here. Not sure whether b5 is worth it. Maybe not, but maybe even bishop e2. Now that the black pieces are rather awkward, just bishop e2 and keep b5 in reserve. All looks a bit clumsy and passive for black there somehow. So yeah, I think knight g6 is best. What does Leela say after bishop a6? Leela wants knight g6, okay, and then wants knight h4 to f5. Oh, look at those arrows, isn't that sweet? Well done, Leela team. 50 elo per time, doubling from 10 seconds move. Wow. Okay. Nice. Mr. Bede sending an ack without a synac first. Or without a sin first, rather. Call yourself an IT guy, Mr. Bedes. Napter's never going to respond to that, just from that out of order package. So yeah, so this is what Leela's looking at: rook fc1, and then this move knight h4. I was thinking knight e7, but this is probably a better way of getting through there. And just looking to play knight f5 and exchange off this guy. Cool. This could get pretty sharp, you know. This could get pretty sharp. If this sort of thing happens, then then I'm going to be regretting. I think Leela's not taking on b6. No, that's probably a good idea, actually, not to take on b6. Looking at it, I keep on getting irritated by the thought of black playing rook a7. So rook fc1, fc1 or ac1. AC1 feels, well, you might open the A file. Yeah, okay. I like the idea of having my rook to defend the king side, but okay. Then knight h4 from Leela. And yeah, if this sort of thing happens, I'm going to regret not being there for past 11:30. Once again, I just have to tell anyone who wasn't there at the start of the stream, I'll be there until 11:30, and then afterwards I've got to go and do stuff. Unfortunately, life takes over. But yeah, I'm going to regret that if this sort of thing happens, because it's looking quite sharp. Both players have done well, I think, just in terms of finding some life in the position and giving us giving some possibilities somehow. It's nice, really nice. Regretting my time management, indeed. No, this Leela's running on an extremely strong cloud platform. So, or maybe is it somebody's own PC? Is it Windfish, maybe, or his machine broke, didn't it? I think. But was it the TCC Kibitzer? Not sure, but it's anyway a super strong machine with 4 NVIDIA 4090 cards, I believe. So just to die for, basically. Cloud server. Okay, so how are we going to deal with this? I want to do something positive against this guy before this knight on h4 comes back to f5. So the problem is that I need basically after c5, I need to be able to play this move so that the rook is kind of trapped somehow, if you see what I mean. And it can't go here, it can't go here. If I take, I'm winning this one. Because if I play knight db5, you go rook c6, and then you're attacking this one. Well, maybe I could go bishop b7, I suppose. Well, actually, no. I mean, actually, after knight db5, I just come over here. I'm not even attacking this pawn. So, yeah. And that's a bit of a problem, because after knight h4, I'd like to play this move to attack the c pawn and also support the knight on here. But you might just go c5 then. Takes, knight b5, and I'm feeling a bit nervous about my pieces there. I feel like I could be on the road to doing something very silly. I mean, rook c6, bishop b7 is not crazy, right? Because I'll have that and then a very fast running a pawn. Though I am a little bit worried about my king, to be honest. With the rook coming over to the third and some stuff coming over, that would not be impossible. That would not be impossible. What I could also do is just go rook e7. You'll have rook c5, but I get a knight e4 in for free, hitting those two. Oh, rook c8, maybe. That could be interesting. Go queen d7. Go knight d2, but I'll probably go queen b4 then. That's probably quite irritating, hitting that one. So, yeah, rook c8, queen d7. Oh, maybe even go rook c7. That's not going to be good. So maybe would I need to go rook c6 there? Bishop b7, rook e6. Let's grab this one. Yeah, this is pretty sharp though. I don't really know what's happening here. I mean, I've got d4, I've got bishop e4, I can sort of try and tee it up, play queen d7, stop the knight from coming out to c6, and then I'm also aiming over here. Looks like it could be really, really dangerous, this. Ding made a move. Knight f3. Oh, ding. Ding, 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 ding. Another kit and caboodle machine. Wow. My goodness. Yeah, Paul, shogi needs really amazing calculation and really incredible vision. Somehow, yeah, I was a good calculator in chess, but it didn't naturally translate to shogi. I was decent, of course, maybe decent compared to other beginners, I guess, but not decent objectively. And I didn't really feel I was going to get much better than I was. Also, of course, there's if you don't read Japanese, the literature that you have available to study is not very much either. So hard to improve somehow. It's I think you need to play a lot of games, but I'm not really I'm more somebody who likes to play a small number of games and do them well. But I don't think that's the. I think in shogi it would have been important just to play a lot of games and just get a lot of stuff under your belt. That would have been good. Knight f3 is very tame, I have to say. That is so tame. Ooh. Yeah, but we're just gonna take it. Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna. I can't believe that anyone feels this is a good this is a good move. Um, I mean, then I have this move. I think simply, yeah. This was the whole point, right? I mean, yeah. This feels like we're bailing out somehow, yeah. I don't understand the reason for it at all, really. It's so strange. Maybe Ding saw this knight c4 tactic and just thought, "Ah, okay, you know, too bad." Must be said though, you could even consider. Oh, has he taken? He's taken. Okay, already. I mean, you could even knight c4 was possible, right? Because you still got this trick after taking on here, so wouldn't have been completely crazy. Though you will have d3, of course. But knight f3 has been played. Yeah, d4. I can't believe any human player will play anything except d4. So natural. I think we're heading to a quick draw here, so maybe I'm not going to regret my 11:30 stopping uh, at this rate, because this is really going to end up completely dull and equal. That's not. Yeah, I'm not. Not very happy with Ding there, really. Really is getting very, very little from his whites, and yeah. It might be the strategy, that you just say, d4 played by Gukesh immediately. I don't think he anticipated knight f3, yeah, and I don't think he, but I don't think he even needed to think more than a few seconds, to choose it really. It's so clear that d4 is a good move, simply. So yeah, and now he's just going to find some good way of playing, and there are plenty, right? Absolute plenty. I mean, the interesting thing is that Leela thinks that d3 is really, really bad. And that is quite interesting. But you get similar structures in the English somehow, and yeah, you just find that this pawn on d3, well, it just inhibits the other pieces, right? It looks good, but it's not really good unless White's got a lot of pieces stuck behind that pawn, and lots have been exchanged, and it's not really. And of course, it blocks also Black's pieces as well. Yeah, but Gukesh is just taking. I think yeah, Bishop e4 would probably be my move. I would say Bishop e4. Don't ask me why. I'm not quite sure why I wouldn't want why I'd want that more than knight e4. Just like the idea of having a knight on e4, really. But knight e4, of course, is a very good move as well. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if yeah, so small that pull, Joshua. I think it's so small. I mean, he could have got a pull in many other ways somehow, but this is really going for the little toe. This sort of playing, and I'm not even sure you're getting that somehow. It's the same. As always. If Magnus plays it, then you're still a little bit worried. But Ding in the second game, he didn't really show any ability to grind these positions, and I don't think he's. Yeah, you need a lot of nerves. You need a lot of nerves to grind slightly better positions, and that's. I don't think that Ding has got that at the moment, or maybe won't even get that for the whole match somehow. I think he's better in the slightly more nervous positions, and I know that, because that's very much the sort of player that I was. When I was professional, when I came back as an amateur, I was way, way better in quiet positions, but because I was calmer, I think, in myself. Um, yeah, yeah. But I don't think that Ding has got that for this match. So Bishop e4, Gukesh. There we are. Back on the same wavelength after being drastically off with Bishop h7. Um, yeah, it feels nicer having the knight somehow. Well, I mean, I suppose you're avoiding the imbalance. Yeah, Rook h5. But I think I think he's looking more for his chances with Black, which is maybe not stupid, right? I mean, I think Gukesh does have the tendency to overplay his positions, and I'm not sure that Gukesh is necessarily, the sort of the smooth positional player, who keeps his position all together. He's very willing to just overplay his position and then keep on fighting. So maybe Ding feels that he's going to have chances with Black all the time and counter punching, and that with White, just play solidly, and if you get a chance, then go for it. If not, then just tie it off and agree a draw. Could well be. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I thought his preparation in game two was quite nice. So it's a shame to waste that. And this was also, this whole idea of b4 and all that, also quite nice. Definitely enough for a little something. And I sort of feel he's making less than nothing of it somehow. So yeah, that's. Yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna. I think indeed what Blair says, Rook d1. he's going to take on e4 and go knight g3 and offer the exchange of knights, I think. Which is fine because then I don't feel too bad about stopping the stream in 12, 13 minutes. And then I've got a nice, exciting game on Saturday on the live on the main live chess stream. Assuming that's going ahead, I might get a chance to commentate with Levon if that goes ahead, which is a little bit scary, I do have to say, but also going to be very interesting as well. If not, then I'll do it on this stream as well, of course. But well, we'll let you all know. I don't think Ding's going to play knight g3. I don't think he's going to give himself double pawns. Could do, could do. I would think more likely bishop e4 and knight g3. I think that's just the move that you play just to tie it off. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I don't think we're going to get a massive amount of excitement here. That's a shame. It's a shame somehow. It really is a shame, I have to say. It's kind of. I mean, the thing is that Gukesh played quite. Gukesh were kind of going for it too with b6 and all that. Really, But basically, it looks like as soon as Gukesh makes some move there as black, that Ding with white is just going to to try and tie it off. And no, it gets higher, gets higher. He's just trying to tie it off and just make just bring it back to absolute equality somehow. Which is yeah, which is a bit worrying, really. If Magnus was playing these lines as white, you'd be looking at a nice long, bit of massage, all through the day basically, and you'd maybe make a draw, but you would definitely know that that there was danger along the way somehow. But this just looks rather, yeah. And obviously, White's got a small edge, right? I mean, White's got a small edge because there's 3 against 2. It's going to be 2 against 1, and then 1 against none. So you've got this 4 against 3. So White's got a nominal advantage there because, yeah, I know, true, isn't it? Yeah. Well, knight e4 was going for it as well, but I think b6 and knight e4 were kind of going for it moves, very concrete, creating a crisis. From what was a very dull position. If black had gone rook e8, I would have said that Gukesh is just sort of waiting around, waiting for white to do something. But Gukesh was really trying to make something of this position. That's what I kind of mean. It's but yeah, I mean, you're going to get this 4 against 3 on one side and then one pawn, but Gukesh plays. I've seen Gukesh playing these ones. Very solid with black. All the Indian juniors very solid with these positions. Good concentration. Not going to do anything stupid. They'll get to a rook and 4 versus rook and 3 if they have to. It's I've got. If Gukesh doesn't hold this as black, I will eat a biscuit. I can tell you. Not just one, two. Yeah, I think knight e4 was possibly even more aggressive. I think that's true. But definitely those 2 moves were the ones that were really in the ballpark of Gukesh saying, "I'm not going to just sit around and play random moves. I'm doing something," which is very good attitude. That's a really good attitude. And I think the worrying thing for Ding is that I think Gukesh is coming into the right attitude somehow. Yeah, I think he's coming into playing his good chess somehow. He's the game 2 with black. He played very sensibly, solidly, but also a bit positively as well. And just finding that nice balance. With white, I'm finding Gukesh a little bit overplaying his positions a bit, but he's well prepared and he's fighting right. And he found all the tactics when things got difficult, when things got unclear. He found all the tactics and won the game. So yeah. When can they offer a draw, actually? Is it after move 30? I think is it that sort of thing, or is it, or can't they offer a draw before move 40 or something? Well, there has to be a special prize, I think, for the commentator who can make this exciting. Trying to think who would be able to do that. It's well, I could make it exciting by switching to Leela odds games, but that's cheating, of course. Oh, I've got a couple of great Leela odds games in the make for you. Don't know whether people saw the one on the French winner yesterday. I was really happy with that one. It's so it was a game just for the crowd. It's a game between Tom O'Gorman, young Irish international master, very good player actually. He's only rated 2380. I don't understand why. He's a really good player. And Samuel Chow, who's about 2350, also a good player. There's a very long line, theoretical line in the winner that's just supposed to lead to well, an equal endgame somehow. But he got really interested in all the crazy Leela stuff I'd done, and he put crazy Leela onto it. And Leela found a great idea where you sacrifice two pawns, but get an initiative that's not at all obvious, but turns out to be incredibly virulent. Ah, great, John. And yeah, I mean, just basically two moves in. Black was already minus 3.8 or something, without having done anything obviously wrong. I mean, these ideas are so powerful. And yeah, Tom sort of Tom didn't mind me showing it, and I was very grateful to that because I do know of a number of ideas, quite good ideas, that have been found by Leela. But most people tell me and then say, "But don't tell anyone because I don't want anyone to know that I'm using crazy Leela." Not many people know about it, so I want to keep that a secret. So I've just been sort of biting my tongue all the time about this stuff. But yeah, Tom didn't mind at all. It was very sweet of him. So I showed the game, and I thought it was super, brilliant idea. Yeah, I'm not sure about playing myself. Yeah, no, it's just I mean, for that, I would have a vast array of very nice ideas in the opening. That is absolutely true. But it's more but yeah, it's to play well in the opens. The main stuff is all the practical stuff somehow. Uh, caring about it enough and yeah, concentration and all of that. And for the moment, I don't really feel like doing that. But I'm never saying never. I mean, if my job ended, my contract ended. I've been saying that since 2017. But if it ended, then yeah, and I had some months, I might well play some stuff. That would definitely be something I might think about. And maybe do it as part of a whole training thing. Yeah, so you train with Leela and all that, and I can make some videos on that as well. It'd be nice. But I am actually planning on taking Leela odds in a number of games. Yeah, yeah, I'm actually planning to do that. I've just started some holiday. I'm feeling a bit ill at the moment, but just get past that, and I'm going to do some training, different odds. I think I'll do some odds, and it does. Yeah, I mean there are so many interesting lines that you can find, with Leela, with contempt of various grades. There, it can be the totally crazy ones, or you can play the slightly less ones. There's loads and loads of interesting stuff that you can do. So you know, it's an inexhaustible supply of that. Ding should have hired me. Yeah, yeah. It's would have been interesting, but I probably would have said no. So it's Yeah, I always get surprised that the more people don't ask me stuff about. Quite a few strong players have it, but I was surprised that there aren't more people who just ask more questions about, how could I use engines in the best way and all that. But I think in many ways, a lot of people aren't that interested somehow. They do tend to see engines as a sort of a very static tool, like a hammer or something, and they use it to hammer away at lines in the same way all the time, and that's it, but well, I have a job, Joshua, so it would be all of my holiday and spare time on that, and then I have to go to work after. So that's the thing. But nah, yeah, this you definitely get the nerd. You definitely get the nerd factor with this interface. It's um, Yeah, but somehow, that is still very much the case. That people tend to do that, and they're not really thinking creatively about how to use the engine, and how that could actually just unbelievably help their play, and also generation of ideas and anything, right? And I mean, it's crazy because I mean, everyone's got access to that same hammer, you know, which is Stockfish basically. And yeah, everyone's sort of struggling to find new ideas or whatever, and yeah, this is just new and interesting and amazing, and just amazed that not more people do it. I said I do know some people who are who've got a much better understanding of it, and yeah, are making some real use of it. But I'm surprised that more don't somehow. But yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, I just Joshua, I remember when I came back to play chess 2012. I wanted to. I suddenly got unbelievably keen on playing, and I spent all of my holidays, end of 2012, beginning of 2013, or maybe it's 11 to 12, on chess, and then had no holiday left for after for work. Yeah, it killed me somehow. It really did. So I sort of thought after that, just remember you're an amateur somehow. It's and we'll that's probably better. It's a lot is covered in Silicon Road, but a lot of things has happened there. Crazy Leela, Crazy Leela. Oh, Silicon Road Chess Improvement. You mean the channel maybe as well? Yeah, a lot of it is covered there. But it would be not. I think it would would help people a lot in order just to understand simply. Yeah, what are the possibilities, and what could I be doing with that? And everyone will do it more or less for themselves. But I think still for the current generation of chess players, they're a lot are a bit more IT savvy. But I think it's still, yeah, the difference between a bit more IT savvy and being completely comfortable with an interface like that is quite a big difference somehow, you know. Um, indeed, yeah, indeed, Panda. Um, oh, you buy that book? Ah, yeah, I'm being chased for a book and being tempted with something for all of that. Thinking of it, yeah, I don't know. I've got to see. Just yeah, work was really crazy this last year. It was one of those moments in your career where you sort of say, well, either this is going to go really well, and we're going to have lovely work for the next few years, or it's all going to fall apart, and basically, yeah, everything ends, and that's just a shame somehow. So I sort of thought I'd make a massive effort to, yeah, to do my best, and try and do everything that we possibly could to get those perspectives moving forward. And I think it worked. I think it really worked. But yeah, it would just ended up being so many weekends, so many evenings, so much work somehow. But yeah, it's been good somehow. So hoping that the next year is going to be just a bit more enjoyment of what we've done, and then be able to maybe do a bit more chess and a few chess. Oh, that is actually interesting, Naptha. That is actually a very interesting thing. That I would definitely, yeah. I'm still mentally coming to grips with the idea of spending all my evenings and weekends writing somehow. But yeah, you know, I would definitely. That's a lovely thought. I would definitely be very interested in that. All right, then. I think I'm now going to stop here because I think. Oh, thanks, Pesa. Thanks. Glad you're enjoying it. I think I'm going to stop now, and I don't think it's a bad moment to stop because I think it's really going to be two people hugging in the embrace of mutual drawing. So I think it's a pretty good place to leave it. Thanks very much for watching. I think normally I'm going to be on the main live chess stream tomorrow, hopefully with Levon. That would be really exciting, although, as I said, a little bit scary. Otherwise, I'll put something up on my stream, and well, you'll see that I'll be streaming on here otherwise. But I think it's going to be on the main live chess screen, and expecting an exciting game tomorrow. You know, with the Gukesh as white somehow. So that should be good. So thanks very much. Thanks very much, Loose Horse. Thank you, Sean. Thanks very much, everyone, for watching. Thanks for all the interaction. It's really, just makes it really nice and friendly and easy and all of that. And I was feeling a little bit ill this morning and just full of energy now with after all this. So thanks very much indeed, everyone. And see you hopefully tomorrow.